Welcome back to my channel RSK Training, and as usual we will be learning something new or different about Microsoft Excel, or even we can try to refresh our knowledge. Okay, if my videos when you like my videos, then please click the like button and do subscribe and click on the bell icon so that you are notified whenever a new video launches. Right, coming back to business, today we will be learning something about Microsoft Excel, as I already told you. So today we will be learning about the common errors that we usually commit in Microsoft Excel. So basically there are 9 types of common errors that we commit in Microsoft Excel. They are div error, NA error, the name error, the null error, the num error, reference error, value error, hash error, or the circular reference error. Here I would like to highlight the last one, the circular reference error, is something which occurs usually but is not identifiable easily. Today I will tell you how to do that. Stay tuned till the end of this video. Okay, now not wasting any more time and moving on to the first error, the division error or the div by zero error. As the name says, div by zero. So when you attempt to divide a number by zero, you will come across the div by zero error. Like in the example, you can see I've tried to divide 678 by the number 0, and I'm getting a division by zero error, because any number divided by 0, which you have studied in schools, any number divided by 0 is resulting in an error and cannot be divided. So the first and foremost solution is to divide the cells by a number and not by 0. So replace the number by 0 replace the number 0 with some other number, and then there will be no error. But this is just one of example. But then when you have thousands of numbers, it is difficult to replace each 0 with any number. So we will use the error handling techniques in this case. Let me show you. So the in my first snapshot, you can see there are 3 different numbers which I'm trying to divide by 3 different divisors. But one of my divisor is 0, so it results in a div by 0 error. What I can do is I can place a if function, if p2 is equal to 0, and give me blank, else divide this number. So it will handle the div error. Or we can use the most advanced if error function, if error a2 by b2, then give me blank. So this is an error handling technique. Moving on to the next error, which is the not available error, or the no value value available error. So this error usually occurs when we use the Excel's VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP function, or any lookup function, or even with the match function. So we are the value we are referencing to, or the value we are referencing is not present in the database. Like in the example, you can see my database contains roll numbers 1 to 5 and their marks, but I'm trying to search roll number 6 in that, which is not possible. So it will throw me an error that this value is not available. So the simple solution would be to give some value which is present in the database. But again, it is the same thing that there may be situations where you don't know which value is there or which value is not there. So we will use the error handling techniques. So we can use the if error. So if error, we look up, instead of blank we are writing number does not exist. So if there is something out of the scope of the database, then it will give number does not exist. Moving on to the next error, the name error. The name error occurs when Excel is not able to recognize the text in the formula. So in the below example, you can see that instead of writing sum of A1 to A4, I've just written SU of A1 to A4. So Excel doesn't understand what is SU. So that is why it will give me a name error, that the name is wrong. So how to correct this error? Simple. Just go ahead and correct the formula. We move on to the next error, which is the null error. The null error occurs when instead of, Excel is expecting colon and we are not providing colon, we are providing a space, like you can see here, sum of A1 colon A4, but we have written sum of A1 space A4. So this is something that Excel doesn't recognize, so it will throw the null error. Resolution, simple, A1 colon A4 instead of space. Now we move on to the next error, which is the number error or the num error. So it usually occurs when there is an impossible calculation for Excel. Not for us though, it is for Excel. So people who know the limitations of Excel would be knowing that the largest number that Excel can accommodate is 10 caret 308, that is 10 raised to the power 308. However, if you write anything more than that, it will result in a num error. So as you can see in the example, till 10 caret 308, there is no issue, but the moment it goes to 309, I get the num error. So what we can do is something below that. I know it is a little bit tricky, so I have another example for you to understand, which is the square root. Not the one we studied in school. It is almost the same thing. Almost what it is the same thing actually, but we are not doing it on paper and pen. Instead, we are using the Excel's formula. So as we have studied, any square root of any positive number or any whole number can be calculated, but square root of any negative number cannot be calculated. So Excel throws the num error. Simple resolution, correct that source data. Instead of -2, I'll write 2. But if there are many numbers, then use the error handling techniques like if error, or in this place you can use the absolute value also. Absolute value will convert it into positive, and then you can find the square root. Now we move on to the next error, the reference error. The reference error occurs when you accidentally delete a reference. That is, as you can see in that example, I have written A1 plus A2 plus A3 plus A4, and I accidentally deleted row number 3. So it gives A1 plus A2 plus ref plus A3. So it gives me the reference error. Now the important thing to note here is that if we use the sum function to sum of these values, then we will not get this error even if we delete row number 3. Because the formula would adjust itself, right? Then we'll move on to the value error. The value error, when does this occur? When we are not supplying the expected value to Excel. That's in this example you can see I'm adding these 4 numbers, but instead of numbers I'm supplying a alphanumerical value. So it gives a value error. So options, the resolution, we can change the formula to calculate A1 plus A2 plus A3 only. However, if we want to calculate A4 also, we have to change the text to a simple number. So instead of 11 BC, we can write 11. Now we move on to the next error, the hash error. So hash error, simple thing, it's a small column, but we are trying to write 15 with 6 zeros, which cannot be accommodated, so Excel throws a hash error. The resolution is quite simple, just adjust the column width. One thing to note here, that in latest versions of Microsoft Excel, we may not find this error because Excel has gone smart enough to understand that we have written a big number and that it has to adjust the column width. Okay, now we move on to the most important error, the circular reference error. We need to understand when this error occurs. So, like you can see the example, instead of writing sum of a1 to a4, I have written sum of a1 to a5. So the formula is calculating itself. It's a cross reference. So we're getting a circular reference. This is the warning that Excel throws in front of us, and we have to find out and remove this error. This error also occurs when we are using one formula within another. That is, say in A5, I'm writing is equal to B5 plus C5, and in C5, I'm writing is equal to A1 plus B5, A5 plus B5. So B5 is referenced in both. So we are getting a circular reference error. Now, it is the same thing. Error handling techniques use if error, or correct the formula. However, how to track this error. Now, if say you have 15 sheets in your workbook, so it is very difficult to find out the circular reference error, and you have to go to each formula to check. Instead of that, what you can do is, when you go to the particular sheet which has this error, the sheet in the status bar, you will see circular reference is present in this particular cell. So it can be easily understood, and so you can go ahead and remove this. Alright, so thank you for spending your valuable time with RSK training.